This video is a motorcycle tire test of the Continental TKC70. It is a real-world tire test in the 7 days in the Andes Mountains of Ecuador. It's not these fake tests where you go out into a sandbox and race around and do donuts and take 5, 6, 7, 8 takes of power sliding and oh, it's a great tire and all. And this game of 80-20, 70-30, you know, all that sort of thing. This is a real-world, all-weather tire test. It's sort of like your car with all-season tires. You can't have a straight street tire. You can't have a full dirt tire on an adventure bike. But this ratio stuff kind of cracks me up. So here's a test of the tires in the real world and what I found. The TKC70 tire has got to be one of the best tires on the market. It is the best. I don't think there's anything close to it. Their rubber technology, which is probably the most important thing of all, with their rain grip and traction skin, is real. I had first-hand experience. The grip of the tire and the feeling is just, you're planted. It's just, I've never had anything like it. And I've ridden a lot of tires. I did a lot of road racing motorcycles in the 70s and 80s. And I've ridden dirt bikes my whole life. I've got 50 years or more of motorcycle riding. Well, more than 50 years. More like 55. I don't want to tell you how old I am. Anyway, these tires have been developed and they are definitely top-notch. On the roads like this, I could fly down these roads. They're not in the best shape, and I felt fully confident with a heavily loaded bike. Banking turns and braking hard, accelerating. Beautiful grip, no slippage. When I came to the dirt roads, and yes, on these roads, all of a sudden you come up to a mudslide and you're at speed. So you better have it together, and you need nothing second on a tire. You need first-class tires only. And this company, Ecuador Freedom Bike Rental, supplies the best tires. I think they're going to give the Moto Z or Motos a try for a while. I think they ordered a whole container of their Moto Z tires to see how they wear and how they perform. I think they're not going to be nearly as good as the Continental. Back in the late 70s, I raced on Continental tires in Loudon, New Hampshire, and it rained most of the time, so we just kept those tires on. The other great tire at the time was Dunlop K81s with the French compound, and they were a very good tire in the rain. It's pretty much exclusively. We ended up using some Michelin tires with the PZ2 compound. I forget the exact model number, but they were good. But Continental we hung with for a long time. Now, on one of the tire tests, the guy holds up the tire and says, yeah, 8,000 miles, and the center's all flat. In my young days of riding, I never wore out the center of a tire on my 750 Honda. We always wore the sides out. We'd go out cornering at the time for fun. Otis Air Force Base had isolated roads. We could race down Miles Standish, and we'd just go up and down those roads all day long. And it was excellent, fun riding. The 80-20 stuff, I'm not sure where that's all coming from, but a lot of the tires advertised today, they do not, they just look at the tread pattern. They shouldn't be taken off-road. They're a street tire. The Michelin they're testing now, the Michelin Adventure tire, the marketers, the Michelin will tell you the marketers designed the tread pattern. And then they pick a compound, and they say they have a dual compound, and that's it. I don't think they've done the research. I think their engineers are working on other projects. And I don't want to pay $200 for a tire where half the money goes to the French government to support their socialist activities. I want my money spent on technology. Continental, you're buying technology. At the end of the video, it'll show you a graph instead of this percentages, 60, 40, 20, 30. It's like, give me a break. I definitely don't want marketers to tell me what tire to run, and I don't want bean counters to tell me what tire to run. The only thing I could say is if Shinko comes out with a dual compound tire, they could be in the ball game with Continental. But they don't. They have all single compound tires as far as I know. And you can see these conditions here, the changing conditions, pretty serious. And we had a blast riding in this countryside. There seemed to be two kinds of mud that we ride into. The black mud wasn't too bad. You had a little slippage. The red mud was slick. And you had to, when I saw that coming, I really had to have your shit together and say, okay, you got to straighten her up and make it happen. Some of the slides on the red mud went far beyond the water because it was kind of stuck to your tire. But man, these tires performed excellent. When you want to travel, I can't see a tire test where you go into a sand pit and race around and say, this is a great tire. On one of the tire tests, they go, well, we don't have any turns in the road, it's all straight. But I'm sure the tire works good. No. We want tire testing in the real world, where you're riding through rainstorms like this, and the sun comes out. Rain again, dirt roads, wet dirt roads, slick rocks. I rode on cobblestone roads that were very wet, and they had this funky layout of the cobblestone, which was very unsettling. And these tires performed beautiful. On one of the villages, on the sides of the cobblestone roads was a moss, and man, you had to watch out. I saved myself from a get off, and I can say that the tires performed. When I stood the bike up, they gripped, and I made it without falling down. And I tell you what, it was close. This green moss was very, very slippery like ice. When you see a tire test and the guys go up into the mountains and get into some snow, it's like, that is a joke. You know, the only time you go into snow on a motorcycle is with studded tires, as far as I'm concerned. And I've had a lot of experience with it, and you want studded tires. And then one of the other tire tests, the guy names the manufacturers. See, here's a downpour, and it's just beautiful, just cruising. Anyway, on one of the tire tests, the guy talks about different manufacturers that the Michelin Adventure tire is competing with, but he didn't mention Continental. Everyone but, or a couple, 3 or 4 but, didn't mention Continental. Well, you know Michelin's making their tire to try to compete with Continental. And right now, I don't think it has a chance. But I will admit, I haven't tried the Michelin tires yet. But I just don't believe they're superior. I think it's a long shot. It's a real long shot. So the only other thing I have to say about this is that these adventure bikes should have a larger tire. Not diameter, not width, but the aspect ratio. For going in the rugged terrain with these overweight machines and having the ability to not bruise the tire or get a pinch flat. So that's all I have to say right now. But, well, yeah, I could say a little more. Anyway, like the Yamaha TW200 has those big fat tires. That's what adventure bikes need. Or like the Bobbers with the big fat front tire. Man, that's what I'd like to see. You won't have the pinch flats if you get going a little too fast. You get into some rugged area, and you happen to whack a rock or something. You won't get a flat. I was very cautious here in the mountains to not bruise the tire on rocks. Last moment maneuvers to avoid big potholes You have to do what it takes. You just can't just slam into stuff. You've got to make moves. And here's a much faster road. And like the graph that Continental produces will show, these tires are almost as good as a goddamn racing tire. They're just shy of a high performance street tire. Their rain grip is outstanding, and all around wear is good. And I think for your money, this is the best tire out there. And in the Andes, and remember, we don't know where we're going. I don't know what direction I'm going in. I don't know. I'm just following the GPS that's on and off. Don't really know where I am. So you have to be ready for the unexpected. You need good braking. And this front tire, I had to brake real hard, and they performed. Every time they performed so nice. So to stand up to these guys doing these fake tire tests, come on, man, get with it. There's the graph where you can talk about they have a little bit like 100%, yeah, but just look at the graph. Don't look at the stupid numbers, and pick a tire that suits you, and you'll be all set. And you want a real world tire, not fake testing like fake news. See you. Have a good evening.